A very good morning to you all and welcome to Deepwater Baptist Church Online. This weekend is the VE Day celebrations, and across the UK people have been celebrating 75 years since it was declared that the war in Europe was over. So I hope you've been able to celebrate this significant day in our British history in some way this weekend. My wife and I, to celebrate yesterday, had afternoon tea in the garden. On a gloriously sunny afternoon, we had proper tea and cheesecake. Well, we're British, so how else do you celebrate but to have a cup of tea? Of course, VE Day wasn't quite the end of the war. That didn't happen until August. But nonetheless, VE Day was a very significant day in our British history. A day that people had waited 6 long years to see happen. So there was reason on that day to celebrate and to rejoice. People who remember it say that one of the most significant things was the ability to go outside again without fear. Thankfully, most of us have not known the kind of fear that people in the war faced. But during these days of lockdown, we can certainly appreciate the longing to go outside again in true freedom. And we can appreciate the longing to see friends and family again face to face. That's been one of the most difficult things during this lockdown for many people, is the lack of physical contact with other people. It affects people of all ages. Older people are missing contact with friends and in particular with their family and their grandchildren. Children alike are missing their school friends, and people in the workplace, although they can meet through video conferencing and we have that kind of technology, it's not quite the same as seeing someone face to face. So we're all missing that physical contact with others. During the war, Dame Vera Lynn's song, "We'll Meet Again," became an important song that captured that longing that people had to see friends and loved ones and family once again face to face. It was a song of hope that encouraged people to look ahead, to keep going in the difficult times, to keep persevering, remembering that it would all be worth it once they got to meet again face to face. The Apostle Paul encouraged the church in Corinth that one day they would see Jesus face to face. He said, of course, we experience something of Jesus now. We read about him in the scriptures. We communicate with Jesus in prayer. And there are times when we feel his presence with us. But Paul says all of this is a mere reflection of Jesus. It's like looking in a mirror, says Paul. I guess if Paul were around today, he would say it's a little bit like meeting someone on a video conference call. As wonderful as that experience is and as great as it is, it's not quite the same as seeing someone face to face. During this lockdown, I've been meeting with ministers from all across Bromley over Zoom. And recently I got the opportunity to go to one of those churches as we collected food for our food bank. And one of the people there commented to me on how nice it was to see people face to face. He said to me, "You're a real person. You're not just someone on a TV screen." Paul encourages the church by saying that one day we will see Jesus face to face. Now what we see is like a framed picture of Jesus. We understand something of Jesus from the stories we have in the Gospels that record him for us. But John, one of those Gospel writers, says at the end of his Gospel that this is just a snapshot. John writes this, the very last verse of John's Gospel says this. It says, "Jesus did many other things as well. If every one of them were written down, I suppose that even the whole world would not have room for the books that would be written." So John is telling us there that there's so much more to discover of Jesus. John just couldn't get it all down in the pages of his book. And what an exciting thought that one day we will get to see Jesus as he really is, not restricted by this snapshot that we have now, but we'll see him with our own eyes. We will meet him face to face. It will be an amazing day, a day of celebration. But Paul also encourages the church that until that day comes, to persevere, to keep going in our Christian walk, looking ahead to the day when we'll see him face to face. For us as Christians, at the present time we may be away from our churches, but let's not give up on those Christian disciplines of reading our Bibles regularly, of continuing to pray regularly. Let's look ahead to the day when we will meet him again. And as we look forward to seeing our friends and family again, as we await the Prime Minister's announcement later this evening on how we might start to come out of this lockdown, let's remember how far we've already come. Let's keep going in the efforts we've made in social distancing, in looking out for one another. Let's not give up all that now. As Dame Vera Lynn's song puts it so well, we don't know where, we don't know when, but one day soon we will meet again. Enjoy the rest of your VE Day celebrations, and may God bless you all.